Welcome to Wandering Monsters. This is the show where we find weird games and play them so you don't have to. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Aaron. This week we have Under the Skin. This is a weird Japanese game made by Capcom. Came out 2004. And it was originally called Annoying Alien Panic Maker, which is suitably Japanese. And yeah, the main character you're looking at right now is Cosme, and there's a significant reference to Resident Evil 3 in this one. Another Capcom classic. And they're going to
Why don't I explain what's going on here? See, when aliens from the Mischief planet turn 3, they leave home and train in the art of mischief making on other worlds. If they pass the many trials ahead of them and return home safely, they are rewarded with praise. But the planet our young Cosme is headed toward is the wildest, most barbaric one in the galaxy. So far, not a single contender has passed trial on this planet. Anyone who could pass would be regarded as a hero.
So there you have it. That is the premise for Under the Skin. You go to Earth and bother people.
Yes. And by bother people, we mean do terrible things to them until they drop money for you.
Terrible ranges, too. You do everything from just, like, singing bad karaoke and taking pictures of people, which I'm not quite sure how that's annoying, to, like, physically harming people, like electrocuting them.
Yeah.
Horribly.
There's going to be some gameplay video coming up, but this is like your mentor in the game, and he explains the opening of each of the various levels and what your goal is.
Through a puppet, which is not explained.
Yes.
It's just strange.
Yeah, so we're not sure what's going on with his eyebrows or what.
His eyebrows are too big for him to talk to himself. He needs to use a puppet.
Or what he's standing on, what that little attachment thing is or whatever.
I know. It's just weird, unexplained weirdness. But that's the selling point for this game, I suppose. Is this just strangeness?
Certainly the premise, yeah. Yeah, I mean, here's some gameplay. It's weird. It's just weird. I can't think of anything else. This is probably the weirdest game we've played so far, and we've played some fairly weird games.
Yeah, no, I would say this one is pretty bizarre. Well, Cube Wars was bizarre too.
Cube Wars was at least understandable in some ways, though. I mean, like, this one I don't even understand 100%. And neither does Sarah, because she was like, tutorial? No tutorial. I was
like, real gamers don't play tutorials, so I was just going to learn it the old-fashioned way by just jumping in and playing, and I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. But as I figured it out, you see in the bottom right-hand corner is your little attacks that you can use to
various mischief things, yeah.
Annoy the coins out of people. I don't understand.
I don't know. Those people look more than annoyed to me as they fry in electricity.
Yeah, and when you make people really angry, they'll come beat you up, especially cops. And apparently, when you take damage, you lose your clothes.
Yeah, it's a bit like Ghosts and Goblins, where you get hit, you lose your armor, and you're wandering around in your underwear. Yeah.
So then you need to you run around, and if you hit again, you'll revert to your alien form, which is bad. So
you'll see that in just a minute.
You need to find people and suck them up, like I just did. And then you can, and see, now if you're going to take damage, now I'm in my UFO form, and everyone sees me, and I was like, oh my god, an alien. So I need to go to one of these non-conspicuously floating UFOs.
They're invisible to everyone else but aliens,
I suppose.
Obviously.
And transform into the person I just sucked up with my little ray gun thing, which is this lady.
And various different people have different gear. Is that the right word for it? Gadgets to annoy the hell out of people?
I mean, they just have randomized little things that you can use to attack people. You can look at people before you suck them up. I didn't really pay attention. Some work better than others. It's not a big deal. It's easy to replace them. In this particular level, the computer player is working against you, so they'll attack you, try to stop you.
Steal your coins, which you can't pick back up again for some reason. You're not sure why.
In other levels, the computer player will be working cooperatively. There's different sorts of goals for each levels. They generally involve coins in some way, but I mean, there's slightly different mechanics for every level. There was a handful of levels, maybe 10.
Sure.
Each level has a panic time function where something in the level will activate. For this particular level, it was rush hour traffic where you get run over by cars.
Yeah, they just didn't care that anybody was in the road.
Yeah,
they would just run people over.
They just ran over other people, and you could gather up coins. So, you know, the game was sort of reminiscent of, like, Mario Party mini games, is what it felt like.
Yeah. It looked, when I first saw it, it looked a bit to me like another kind of cell-shaded kind of open-worldy type game, which was a Jet Grind Radio, but unfortunately it didn't strike me as anything near as good as that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool art style for its
Sure, yeah.
time
No,
and
it's
system.
probably one of its strong points.
And I really love all the weird sort of cultural references, many of them clearly Japanese references.
Definitely.
Some of the powers were interesting. One of them, you turn into like a little alien superhero and just run people over. In like, the pirate themed level, you can just make sharks come out of the ground.
Sharks, yeah.
And attack people. So, I mean, it had some funny parts. It also has an entire level, which, as we mentioned earlier, is a spoof or parody of Resident Evil 3.
So they're showing the intro to that level right now.
Which I guess when you're Capcom, you can just make that into other games.
do it.
So, like, what would help
Here's
sell
Nemesis.
this game? Let's put Resident Evil in there because we're Capcom and we can. So, yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah. We got some good stuff and some bad stuff, as always.
Yeah, good things. Like I said, I love the cultural references. The powers were funny, the little jokes. I mean, it was amusing. I chuckled.
Yes.
We said the art style was really good. I mean, it suited the game. It was thematically appropriate. It was good for its time and its system. And some of these, the roles of the computer players could be fulfilled by another player, so multiplayer in this game,
yes.
Which would be really interesting. This game would be a lot more fun, and I think, honestly, the only reason I would play it would be to play it with someone else. This isn't a game I would sit down and play by myself.
Sure.
So the multiplayer aspect was a smart thing to include.
And the first one is it feels too much like a minigame, which is one of the reasons especially why you wouldn't want to play it if it wasn't multiplayer, because it's just you doing the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Slightly varied, but not a ton.
Yeah, in that comparison to Mario Party, it felt like a Mario Party minigame, but it was missing that entire other
Sure.
half of the game, and,
Or the 17 other games that might break up the too much of one thing. The story integration was non-existent, and the story itself felt very ad hoc. It just, something they slapped in there to fill their mechanics, and it doesn't really hold your attention. Again, because it's repetitive and minigamey.
Yeah, I mean, it originally retailed for $40, PS2 prices at the time, and I wouldn't say it was worth that. Generally, now we found it online, like Amazon, for around like $10, which
maybe if you're looking for a specific party experience and you had $10 burning a hole in your pocket, but other than that,
and you really wanted an alien-themed mischief party game, go for it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're
going to not recommend this one. Yeah. All right. Well, that'll be it for this week. We'll be back in another couple of weeks with another interesting game, strange game for you guys to play.
Yeah, so come visit us again.